Well, my next guest, awesome lady, says we need to keep our eyes wide open because as Mamdani was elected in New York City, get this, 42 Muslim candidates backed by terror-linked organizations have won key offices across America. Here to give us the details, national security analyst, best-selling author of Rise in Defense of Judeo-Christian Values and Freedom, and chairman for Act for America. Act for America's the one, the only, Brigitte Gabriel is back. Brigitte, good to have you back. Now, I had a little conversation with Rudy Giuliani yesterday about Mamdani in New York, and I said, what advice would you give President Trump to deal with this? And he said, make sure that we move out the bad Muslims. There are good Muslims and bad Muslims. Let me tell you something. I do a voicemail thing at the end of the show, and I agreed with Rudy that there are good and bad Muslims. I get lit up because there are so many folks that can't find, they say they can't find a good Muslim. They're all the same. Brigitte, these 42 Muslim candidates who now hold offices in America, backed by nefarious forces, is it safe to say that it's a group and not all Muslims? Or you tell me, am I wrong?
Our concern with Islamic elected officials is whether or not their loyalty is to the United States of America or to a foreign government or an entity. If you look at the track record of those who we already have in Congress, Ilhan Omar, for example, with the Somali flag in Congress. Now, is her loyalty to the United States or to Somalia? When you have Rashida Tlaib with the Palestinian flag in her office, is her loyalty to the American people or to the Palestinian people? Last time I checked, it was Americans who elected her to serve America's interest, American communities, not Palestinians living in Gaza. When you look at the guy who ran for mayor in Minnesota, when you look at the track record of the Muslims who are elected to office in the United States, we are seeing very clearly the loyalty leaning more towards another government and another entity. When you look at the students marching and demonstrating in the United States, including Mamdani, by the way, in demonstrations after October 7th, where they were burning the American flag and waving the flags of different countries, Arabic countries in the Middle East, different terrorist organizations, you start to think to yourself, where is their loyalty? Are they loyal to us or to somewhere else? So when I see that 76 Muslims ran for office, backed and funded by CAIR, the Council on American Islamic Relations, who's an unindicted co-conspirator in the largest terrorism financing trial in America's history, and 42 of them make it to office, I question their loyalty and I question the decisions that they're going to be making regarding America, their cities, and its interests.
How do you explain? I agree with you completely. I've had how many arguments with that guy, Doug? He calls himself Ibrahim Hooper. His name is Douglas Hooper, who is a spokesperson for CAIR, Council on American Islamic Relations, which is an unindicted co-conspirator to 9/11, which means they had a hand in that. And let me just tell you something. I went to Ground Zero when they were trying to open the mosque at Ground Zero. I protested. I was a member of Fox broadcast team, and I went there on my own and pushed back against. There was a group of Muslims who purchased, I don't remember which sect, the building that one of the airplanes' jet engines fell on, and it was going to be their trophy to take down the World Trade Center. It was going to be their trophy mosque, and I pushed against it, and we finally got that thing killed. And yet, how is this 24 years later or so? 24 years later, they elect a Muslim mayor of New York.
Because the new kids who voted for him, the lefties who voted for him, you have the lefties and you have the Islamists. You have a lot of people who were barely in New York for 5 years, barely in the country for 5 years. 20% of them not even speak English. Those are the people who elected him, working together with young lefty women in the United States, driven by emotions, do not know anything about socialism. The problem, Eric, is when 30 years ago, when kids were in school, they were taught what socialism is. They were taught what capitalism is. They were taught information, and it was up to them to decide what is good and what is bad. Right now, our kids in school, they're not learning about socialism. So while they vote for a socialist, they have no idea what socialism is, whether it worked in the past or not, because they are not taught that. And that's how they are ending up voting for people like Mamdani, who's promising them, you're going to have free buses, you're going to have free childcare, you're going to have free this, free that. And of course, before he is even in office, Hochul comes out out and says, oh, no, we're not going to be able to give you free buses because we need the money. So he's not going to be able to impose what he duped them into thinking he can impose. But then again, you're looking at an idealist guy who never ran a company, who never ran a corporation, who never balanced the checkbook and actually balanced the payroll. Yet he is elected to run the biggest city in our country. There's a big difference between running and governing.
Mm-hmm. And he can't push back on Hamas what they did on October 7th. He's been asked several times. He just won't do it.
No. And he wants the UN, he wants foreign law now applied in New York. I mean, we already see the writing on the wall.
Good luck with that. With the writing, it's clear. When they made a makeshift mosque in Times Square and the place was blanketed with praying in Times Square, New York is going to be the next Minneapolis or Dearborn, Michigan, with Muslims will flock to that city. And I'm so thrilled I'm not there anymore. These 42 elected Muslim candidates who've been elected into offices around the country, is this some sort of cohesive unit? Is this some sort of plan? Or is it just dotting the map?
Well, they are very well coordinated and very well organized, and they are funded in part and in large and with a lot of donations from the Islamic community, from organizations like CAIR, the Council on American Islamic Relations, etc. And what is so concerning about them, CAIR actually right now is writing the 2026 manual and guide for the candidates who are going to run for the midterm in 2026. So if they organize that well, and CAIR, by the way, have a super federal PAC, Justice something or other fund, and they are funding candidates running for office. And what people don't realize, 76 candidates ran, 42 got elected, and we still have three positions that are pending. We're talking about 26 mayors, not only just Mamdani in New York. We're talking 6 mayors. We're talking 20 city council members and commissioners, 2 judges, 6 school board members, 4 state legislatures in no less than 9 states across America. New York, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Ohio, etc., etc. So people, while all their eyes were focused on New York, they were the sweeping success across the country. And right now they're very emboldened and very inspired. And that's why we are telling people, go to actforamerica.org, our organization right now. Click on Join Us. Start a chapter in your community. We are organizing neighborhoods. We are organizing cities nationwide. We cannot gamble with the midterm election. And in a way, Eric, thank God this election happened now and gave us a year to plan. Can you imagine if this happened in the midterm? So we want people engaged. We want people organized. We need to match passion with passion. So they are organizing their neighborhoods. We need to do the same thing. Go to actforamerica.org right now. Click on Join Us. Sign up to volunteers. Start a chapter in your community and sign up to get our action alerts. So together we can be prepared heading into 2026 so we're not caught off guard.
Indeed. It's a great cause. And I'm glad you're doing that, Brigitte. But here, very quickly, only about a minute or so. CAIR, who funds them? Because if there's foreign funding for CAIR, they're breaking the law. They can't have foreigners funding individual elections, mayoral or other elections in America.
Well, look, I do not know how much foreign funding they're receiving, but they're receiving plenty of domestic funding. See, the Islamic community has an end goal, and they are organized, and they are passionate, and they are all chipping into the same funnel, the same bucket of money that CAIR is saying, look, we need your help. We are giving money to elected officials. We're even giving money to students organized to demonstrate on college campuses, to activists. So people are incentivized to give because supposedly CAIR is fighting for them. On our side, we have a lot of apathy. People think somebody else is going to do it. Somebody else is going to fund it. I don't have time. I need to go out, take my family to sushi. I work full-time job. And, I'm not really crazy about the candidate running for office, and therefore I'm not going to go out and vote. Our enemy is apathy on the right. So we cannot blame CAIR for succeeding in what they're doing because their people are on fire. It's not the big donors. It's the small donors who are funding the organization. It's
scary. Actforamerica.org. Brigitte Gabriel, always good to have you on, my friend. Keep up the good fight, my friend. Thank you. We need more people like you. Thank you, Brigitte.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
All right, you too. All right, we'll be back. 2.5 minutes.